So, we're back after a bit of a break that was interrupted by a trip to Star Trek London. Well, Destination Star Trek.
Yes, well, from some of us, that was true.
Well, we took Richard along, but yeah, both Lukes we kind of lost.
Mm-hmm.
Not both by choice.
Yeah,
Kind of.
I don't think either by choice.
Well, one was too busy, and they're too busy tonight, so we're only with one Luke this week.
Well, that's fine. That's easy to keep track. Now, we have lots to discuss.
Right, yes. Coming up in today's podcast, we're going to be talking about the Series 8 of Doctor Who. We've got Destination Star Trek to have a quick recap of. And we've got Delta Rising, the latest SDO expansion.
And
So,
little updates and things.
where to begin? So, we've just had the series complete. And opinions?
Well, who wants to go first?
Well, I think you're beaming with opinions at the moment, so we'll let you kick off.
Okay, then. Well, I'll repeat what you said earlier, John. Where to begin? I was very excited for this series, I'll start by saying. I thought I was looking forward to a new, older Doctor. I was also looking forward to just a brand new story, forgetting about how, the writing got a little bit messy towards the end of Matt Smith's era. I was just ready for a nice, good start, then take it slowly, blah, 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 do whatever. So, and I actually went to the cinema to see Deep Breath, the pilot episode, the first episode of Series 8. And 5 seconds in, a dinosaur walks on the screen. And...
So, did that put you on a good footing for the rest of the series?
Well, actually, I was a little bit disappointed by Deep Breath. I think it was too long. I think the first half was a kind of a jumble of messed up scenes, which were funny, but they ultimately don't result in anything. And I think the second half felt a little bit rushed and kind of weird. And I think I'll kind of do this progressively over the series, just a brief sort of overview. Into the Dalek, I didn't think was wonderful either. I don't think the Daleks are really that effective anymore, and I think they kind of need to rest them. Episodes like Robot of Sherwood, where there's sort of a main focus on comedy, aren't always my favourite thing, to be honest. I prefer episodes such as the 2006 episode School Reunion, which had sort of good drama in it, but there was still a sort of decent amount of humour in it. It was still kind of dark comedy in that episode as well, if you know what I mean. I quite liked some of the episodes had good premises, but I think Stephen Moffat's kind of set a couple of bad standards for the writing. I feel like he brushes over a lot of things. Speaking in terms of the finale, I found the series to be kind of mediocre. In fact, before I get onto the finale, I'll sort of say that I think people keep saying that Clara has been really well characterized, but I would actually describe it like this. I think, now this is nothing to do with the actors, I think both Pierre Capaldi and Jenna Coleman are brilliant. Really good actors. I think is the plural. Yes, they're both very good, but I think the writing hasn't been 100% for me. And the sort of development, so-called development of Clara has sort of consisted of throwing obstacles in the way of Clara's life, and that's different to her having a defined personality. So people think she's getting development when really what's happening is, the Doctor doesn't like her boyfriend. Drama, if you know what I mean. And I think there were some episodes I was looking forward to, which I was disappointed with, such as Deep Breath and definitely Kill the Moon. I'll kind of get on to Kill the Moon if we talk about it later, but I'd rather not. I liked Flatline. I liked some of the more interesting ones. I liked Mummy on the Orient Express and Flatline, and I think the finale was actually a very good finale compared to the rest of the series. I don't think Danny or Clara have been strong enough characters to begin with, so I didn't really feel much of a connection, but I still enjoyed the finale. They were more like people than they had been previously in the series. And I think, I think the 1 hour finale was definitely better than the sort of 75-minute pilot. I keep saying pilot, first episode, I think Deep Breath really didn't need to be 75 minutes long. And the finale was great. A couple of things I was a bit confused about, and there's kind of spoilers coming up here, dear audience, so run away if you don't like spoilers, or if you haven't seen it. Well, probably.
Why even watch the breakdown if you don't want the spoilers?
Mm-hmm. So yes, we're getting into spoiler territory now. I felt like some things were brushed over, such as the Doctor is completely okay with a Brigadier Cyberman blasting the Master, a person he has known since he has been a child, who just returned in female form. Which is a strange choice, I'll admit, but interesting. To just suddenly be murdered like that, and the Doctor doesn't even care. And I know the Doctor was kind of planning on killing the Master, or the Mistress anyway, but I kind of felt like, and I liked the way how the Brigadier did it and everything. The Brigadier was kind of shoehorned in. That was fine. That was kind of nice. But it's the way that, she gets murdered, and the Doctor just kind of looks around and goes, that's the only thing I would say about that. But so a couple of things are glazed over in the finale, but I think compared to the rest of the series, the finale was really good. A solid 8 or 9 out of 10 for me. If you want, how about we all go through the episodes and sort of give our rating out of 10 to sort of gauge what our reactions were like, and we can get into more detail, because I'm just kind of talking. How does that sound?
Well, I kind of have an issue.
What's that, Mr. Evans?
I've only seen 2 of the new series.
What? Sorry?
I've only seen 2 of the episodes out of the new series.
And which 2 were they?
That was Kill the Moon.
Oh, lucky you.
And Mummy on the Orient Express.
So you had a good and a bad one.
Well, to be fair with you, Kill the Moon, I thought, it was okay. It wasn't the bestest of episodes that have been in the past. It wasn't one that's gone, oh my god, it all makes sense now. Whereas, like, Mummy and the Orient Express, there was a genuine mystery. How do you stop the mummy? What is it? We surrender. Letting him go. You're a relieved soldier and everything else. Going through that journey, and that was interesting to try and understand that and everything. And obviously understand the mindset of, allowing people to die in order, it's going back to the Star Trek phrase, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few and the one.
Which, if I may interject, was the absolutely terrible problem with Kill the Moon, was the fact that it's kind of an obvious decision, and the interesting sort of part of the episode would have been, how are they going to solve this? But you know what the moral of the story is? If there's a solution where you can save both people, do it. And if not, please go to Star Trek for some advice. That's how I kind of felt that was. There was no moral to it, really. I was looking forward to it. I thought it was going to be a properly scary one with spiders and stuff. But it was, first of all, they threw physics out of the window for crashing on the moon, which is, again, why Doctor Who is not sci-fi, but that's a different argument.
But that's the thing, they explained the fact, the reason why there's gravity on the moon is because, the mass weight of the moon got heavier.
Yeah.
That side of things, and it's not a rock, it's an egg. That all made sense.
It's fine, but it's, Doctor Who is not sci-fi in my eyes, it's fantasy, and it always has been. It's just because it's got space elements in it doesn't mean, Richard, tell me how the TARDIS works, please. That's kind of stuff.
Timey-wimey, obviously.
Whereas you could look up how, if you really wanted to, how a Star Trek Type 2 phaser works. You can't look up how the TARDIS works, for example. But yeah, back to Kill the Moon. I think I was looking forward to it, and it was an interesting enough premise. But do you know what I thought? I thought the innocent life was going to be Courtney. I thought it was, since they kind of introduced her and built her up a little bit, I thought, they're going to kill the little girl, and that'll be depressing and dark. And then, it's some big dragon thing, which something which my brother said about that episode is that is something you do with an alien moon and not our own one. So it was fine. That was probably one of the weaker episodes, along with kind of I quite like Listen. I know you haven't seen it, Richard. In fact, no, we'll stay with the ones Richard has seen first. I think Mummy and the Orient Express was good. The only thing I would say is it's a little bit...
Excuse me.
It's fine. It's a little bit rushed towards the end is the only thing I would say. As in the resolution. But that's kind of normal Stephen Moffat for you nowadays. It's not even Moffat writing it, but he kind of... I feel like he sets kind of lower standards for the writing, which just kind of annoyed me a little bit. And I wish Luke was here, so he could be bouncing off, because I think Luke disagrees with me on some of these points, but never mind.
See, the thing is, I think, towards the end of, Kill the Moon, it suddenly went from, we've got to make this decision, do we kill the dragon or do we kill everyone on Earth? And then suddenly you blink and it's all fine, who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
It's all sorted, don't worry.
And
it's not a case of, it's actually 10 minutes further down the episode. It's not, it's in literally a space of about 3 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And the whole kind of, they do a sort of Clara and the Doctor drama, which you could argue, they sacrifice the other part of the story for that. However, at the beginning of Mummy and the Orient Express, the ending of Kill the Moon is completely undermined because they're with each other again suddenly. And the only thing I'd say about it is... I was expecting that they'd part ways at the end of Kill the Moon. There'd be a sort of Clara Light episode for Mummy and the Orient Express, and then a Doctor Light for Flatline, and then they'd reunite in the Forest of the Night. But they didn't do that. They're just Clara forgives them in Mummy and the Orient Express, and then they just keep going. So it's kind of like a good way to describe it as someone has sort of told. How do I phrase this? Someone has given me a good way of describing it.
Reset switch.
Yeah. Well, basically, Stephen Moffat... Well, in fact, we'll start with Russell T Davies. Russell T Davies had always a good setup for things and always told you exactly what you needed to know, and there was always a good payoff. Now, Russell T Davies started by writing soap operas, so he knows exactly how to art characters properly and, you write good drama, as you would expect. Now, Stephen Moffat started writing sitcoms, I believe. So, and if you think about a sitcom, everyone every character has to return to how they were at the end of the episode, to how they were at the start of the episode. See, they always have to sort of end up the same at the beginning and the end, which is how it kind of is. So even if a couple of interesting things like, yes, something happens to Clara, blah, 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 she ends up the same at the episode. I mean, I was sort of... I'm not speaking about the finale because the finale was actually very good, but before the finale, in the Forest of the Night, I kind of sat there and I thought, Clara and the Doctor are exactly the same as they were in Deep Breath. And, I don't think they really arced Clara well enough. And so the way that we're made to sort of dislike the Doctor to side with Clara, which, I find a little bit. So, I don't think the series has been terrible. But for a sort of first series of having a new Doctor, I don't think it's been the best. I mean, if we take Series 1, that's Chris Eccleston, that's a great series. Series 2's David Tennant series, that's a great series as well. Even 5, Matt Smith's first series, that was stable, solid, good storytelling, good arc. And then Series 8, you've kind of got this jumble of singular episodes and then a two-parter at the end, which we haven't had since 2011. Now, that's what the problem with Deep Breath making it 75 minutes is, as it's not a brilliant episode anyway, and we've been given more time on it. So rather than sort of just making them all 45 minutes and having the 3 two-parters in a series, which we used to have, we've kind of got kind of disjointed episodes and then it kind of ties together at the end. So I think it's been a decent series, but it's not been the best. I think, and it's nothing to do with the actors, I think the actors have been kind of a bit wasted on some of the material they've been given to work with. I was really sort of excited for it And as I say, I'll say it again, there was a whole new beginning, and a dinosaur walks across the screen. But, I know you didn't see it, Richard, but I think you probably know what we're talking about. And it's little things like that, how Stephen Moffat brushes over, oh, the Doctor's childhood friend was murdered, and a big dinosaur walks in Victorian London.
Well, that's where we've got to question it. I had a look on Reddit to see what people were saying yesterday.
Yeah.
And one of the comments referred to the Master.
Yes.
And how in the classic series, he'd die at the end of one serial, appear at the start of the next, and say, I escaped.
Yes, and that's true.
And we thought we have lost the Master how many times in the new series as well?
Twice before. Well, twice before now that you count this finale. But yeah, I felt like it was also a bit of a wasted opportunity having Missy as the Master, because there were theories that it could have been the Doctor's daughter Jenny or Romana from the classic series. Because if you're going to be bringing back the Master and he's from the new series, then you're expecting people to know who he is anyway. So why don't you just make it the Doctor's daughter or somebody new? Because now they've sort of, I felt like the Master story was kind of done at the end of time, but then suddenly they kind of restarted the story up again and then kill her off, and I don't know if it was the best choice. I think Michelle Gomez was very good at portraying her. She was terrifying.
Well, we have to see what happens next time.
Yes.
But
now,
there was
John,
a quite interesting line in Clara being a lie. That could have had a very interesting turn.
Well, me and my brother sort of, when in the next time trailer for the finale, it has Clara saying, oh, I'm not Clara Oswald, she's never existed. And me and my brother knew straight away, yeah, that's a red herring, it'll be her trying to distract the Cyberman to run away. And guess what happens? She distracts the Cyberman.
Well, that could have been so interesting if it had actually turned out to be somebody who's from the Doctor's past, or something else that would link in to... We still haven't got Gallifrey back, have we?
Yes, that's another thing. I was expecting something with Gallifrey at the end.
Progression.
Yes, I was wanting the 12th. I want to see the scene where the 12th Doctor joins in with the 50th anniversary. Do you remember? He was one of the 13 Doctors, 14, whatever it was. So, that's, I kind of wanted to see a payoff to that. But it turns out, the Master was lying. But there's no reason for her to have lied about that. So, that was a bit strange. I thought the pacing of the last episode was better than Deep Breath, though, since it was the longer running time. But I would still just rather have the 3 2-parters a series, sort of keeping it, kind of serial and fluid, like a series. What's your sort of overall vibe been, John?
Disjointed and lackluster, I guess, would be the quickest way to sum it up.
Yes. I feel the Cybermen were on top notch in the finale. I think that's one of the best.
They could have been much more interesting, but also some of the characters in the final 2-part really don't have eyes at all, do they?
I liked Chris Addison's character, Seb. Yes, Richard, I don't know why you're nodding your head. Yes, I think some of it was good, but it's all thanks to the actors,
I agree.
But yeah,
yes, of course.
Completely.
If Clara had bothered to look behind her, she'd have noticed a Cyberman so much earlier.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah, stupid Clara.
Oh,
Why did she do that?
Oh.
And metal support frame. When that was mentioned, should that not have... What do they actually look like?
Well, this is the thing, John. No one knows.
Yes, but we knew
No
it was
one
just the
knows.
water that made it vanish. And also,
Well,
when the Master got free, you had 2 guards that had so much time and did absolutely nothing.
Yes, and
See, that was going to be my point that I was going to lead on to, John, before obviously you carried that on for me. So thank you very much for that.
it's also the way that Osgood just sort of, she doesn't react in the slightest. They wouldn't even be keeping the Master in the same room as a sort of member of the scientific personnel. They'd have her locked away in her own little cell with 2 guards standing outside.
Yeah, why
Whether she
would
has-
you not put her under the Tower of London in the secure centre?
Yeah.
Well, these are the questions that we can only ask, John and Luke.
Of
you know.
course. So we're
Well,
going to
John.
have to bring a close to the Doctor Who discussion because it
Yeah.
is so vast and timey-wimey.
Yes, I mean, we can get... Well, John, shall we quickly go through the episodes and sort of give our rating out of 10? I think you and I should do that, John.
I think that would take a whole episode on its own.
Okay, then.
Word.
So let's move on to... This is where that Richard could get involved with Destination Star Trek.
Oh, yay, something I didn't do now.
So Richard was there
Indeed.
promoting Riser with his glorious wristbands. And how much of an influx have you had on Riser from that?
Well, to say the least, I think in the space of like 1 week, I had over 70 registrations
Wow.
in just 1 week, which is awesome. But yeah, it really.
You've kind of
very-
lost Richard a moment.
Yes, you've gone...
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to try and load up some photos to go into my thing, but obviously I've lost it for whatever reason. That's quite annoying.
Oh, well.
But I'm still here. You can still hear me, which is good.
Yes, it's not ominous in the slightest.
Absolutely, absolutely. I should have prepared for this, shouldn't I? Let's
So,
have a look.
we've already put a video up showing some of our time at Destination Star Trek and some of the great costumes that people are in as well.
Yeah.
Oh, the costumes were hilarious.
I remember when you two called me up on Skype and took me around for a little while on your phone, John. Or it was Richard's phone, I'm not sure.
Right.
But yeah, you took me around. And that was very nice of you because I was bored that weekend just sort of thinking, oh, they're all having fun and I'm here.
Well, blame your local rail station.
Yeah!
Oh, that's good.
There you go. And you should still be able to see me somehow.
Yes, we can see.
Yeah, you're a
That's-
tiny head in the
yeah.
corner.
Of course, I forgot a lot of the TNG cast were there. Now,
Yeah, hell of a lot of them.
John, obviously you'd been last time. How did the whole experience compare to the last time? Was it better? I heard you describe it as
Well,
similar.
instead of, for the big talks, instead of queuing in the main sort of avenue, I guess to call it, they had a
Yeah.
hall dedicated for queuing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
But all the other stages were all open this time, so there were a lot better opportunities for actually seeing the people up on stage.
That's good. Of course, I'm excluding the fact that I wasn't there to completely, make it a worthwhile experience. But yes, now you two got to see each other. Did you see Mr. Sutton at all?
We caught him
We
on the
did.
Saturday, but we filmed our camera piece for the video on the Sunday, and by that time Luke had
Yeah.
to go to his own convention back in his hometown.
Yes. So, was he enjoying it by your impressions? Did he seem to be enjoying himself?
Oh, he was very busy.
Oh, okay.
We had very
So-
little time to actually catch him.
That's fine. So, did you get plenty of promotion for your channel, John?
We got recognised, amazingly.
Recognized, did you say?
Richard,
we got
you've got the better
recognised.
memory, so
Alright,
recall
okay.
what happened.
You were recognized. How old were the fans who recognized you?
Well, what we were doing is, I think must have been on the Sunday. We were walking
I think it was
around-
late Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, I think it must have been late Sunday.
Okay.
And we were walking around just, I was trying to get rid of the wristbands that we had and some of the flyers as well.
Okay.
And I recognised one of the guys who stood with me at the Star Trek timelines stand with me, just looking at what they're doing and everything.
Okay.
And called him over to have a bit of a chat, and he just turned around and said, "Ah, you're John and Richard from the DataStream, aren't you?" And we just both just stopped in stun.
We have viewers.
We have viewers.
Well, viewer.
I'm sure we have more. We get a couple hundred per episode, I think. Sorry, this is kind of out of episode. We shouldn't be chatting about this.
Yeah,
Right,
it's
so,
the
yeah.
interaction. You never know who's actually watching until you actually hear from them.
That must be great, actually. That must have been a great moment for you, John, to sort of think, oh, well, somebody's been following. Yeah, that's great.
It does give you a feeling of achievement, because when you just see the figures on YouTube just dwindle, you never know how much people actually watch.
Yes, I got that kind of feeling a while ago when I found out that some of my sister's school friends, who were male, thankfully, were watching my YouTube channel, and I was like, oh, okay, yes, I'm TriggerAngry. Yeah. Yes, you're the only people who admire me. So yes.
Whenever you actually get a bit of interaction, a comment or a like or on a video, that does give you a better sense of people are enjoying it or watching it.
Yeah, people are enjoying this kind of thing. Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely, yeah.
When you hear absolutely nothing, you never know if that's the right direction you're heading in or not.
So, how old were the people that recognised you?
It was a person. His name was Stephen. Stephen, if you're watching, hi.
He will be watching. I hope you
Of
are,
course.
Stephen. And I'm sorry I couldn't meet you, Stephen, but maybe one day there'll be another Star Trek convention and we can meet again. Or not again, for the first time.
Do you have to get so close to the camera?
I'll see you, okay? Anyway, yeah,
That was creepy. That was creepy. Anyway, so we gave him a free wristband and everything else. So hopefully he's going to sign up to Riser. I haven't seen him on there yet. But if you are on there, let me know, because you may have been on there as a different username or something. But yeah, no, it was awesome. You know, just to hand up players like the Andorians, which I showed a photo of earlier. And they're also on the DST3 video, which is going to appear.
And
somewhere.
you also had to go with a batleth as well.
I saw that. Yes, I saw that. That was brilliant.
That was, it was really weird. It was not balanced at all. So one minute it was really, really light, and then the next minute, as you turned it,
you
really,
seem
really
to be
heavy.
doing a good job with it.
Yes, it looked kind of Star Trek-y, you know.
Yeah.
Especially from somebody who's not experienced around Battleth. It was very kind of, you know... And what kinds of activities were there to sort of do there? Was there lots to do this time? Was it kind of similar?
There was
to
no Federation zone, but there was the Klingon zone. Staffed
Really?
with Klingons that Richard was afraid of.
What happened to the Federation zone?
They replaced it with a American hot dog stand.
Oh, okay, great, right. So,
Oh, is that what that was? Oh, right.
so Richard, scary Klingons. Please elaborate.
I don't like Klingons. They were very tall. They were very scary. They were very loud, and they made me scared. And I almost bumped into one as well.
So, based on the height thing, were you scared of Vegas Spock as well?
Vegas Spock, I was not scared. I was just a little bit intimidated, in the sense of, you know, he looks so much like Spock. He was unreal.
Yes. So I'm not afraid of Klingons. I'm not scared. I'm not afraid of them. I'm not really scared by Klingons. But
But when they're in real life, that's when it becomes scary.
well, yeah, I suppose. I can't remember last time if some of the actors actually turned up in makeup for one of the days or something.
I think there were some shoots where they were in makeup.
Yeah, some of the Klingons as well, like Gowron, I think it was. What's the actor? Something Robert O'Reilly. That's it. I think he was in makeup at the 2012 one, and yes, so it was enjoyable then, was it?
Yeah, I went to
It
some very
was,
nice talks.
Yeah, the talks were interesting.
What talks did you go to?
Especially-
I had Brent Spiner's talk. I had the Jay Ryan talk. Now, originally, Jonathan Frakes was going to be there, but he cancelled. And instead, they had Carmini in, so I had his talk instead. Amazingly, his talk was so empty. It was first thing on a Saturday.
Yeah.
But everyone in the main stage got upgraded to premium seats because it was that empty.
That's good. Well, it's not good for Colin Meaney, but it's good for the audience. I like.
But being
Colin
first thing Saturday morning, I think it was a bit too early.
Yeah.
And also, a lot of people were disappointed that there was a change of guest.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if I was able to go, I was possibly planning on getting Colin Meaney's autograph. Strangely enough, though, Colin Meaney was in a movie I watched recently called Alan Partridge, Alpha Papa. I don't know if you two have seen that. It's a very fun.
No, but he's done a hell of a lot of work recently back in the UK, which is good.
Yes. I think he's quite a good actor. I think Chief O'Brien is the only role that he has never been a sort of vulgar psycho. Most of his characters swear quite.
A nice guy.
Yes, O'Brien just a normal.
In his talk, he was talking about the type of roles he actually has been taking on, and apparently has a very good split between the goods and the bads. It's just you see a stint of the bad ones, then a stint of good ones, then it goes back again.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he's a good actor. So, did you see any other talks?
I went to the Larry Nemchek talk about the future of Star Trek, which John joined me about, and that was a really interesting talk to hear about the different views, the more business side to Star Trek than rather the actual writing creative side of things. So that was quite interesting.
It's always good to kind of recognize what's actually happening with it, so people don't say, why haven't you made a new series, Yes. So, John.
Oh, the other talk that I managed to catch was LeVar Burton and Gates McFadden as well, and we caught a little bit of Ethan Phillips and Robert Picardo as well. Yeah,
they're good. It's good that I'm glad Robert Picardo went. I was
originally he wasn't doing any talks. It's only because Tim Russ, by mistake, had already gone off elsewhere that day.
Okay.
Robert Picardo joined Ethan Phillips on the stage.
Oh, that's I mean,
it wasn't expected.
Robert Picardo is a very good actor, and if I had gone, I probably would have gotten his autograph as well, because I think there are just some of the actors that you just need to sort of meet and get an autograph off. I realised that last time there seemed to be more of the DS9 actors, and this time there was more of the TNG cast. Am I right in saying that, or am I just kind of?
Yeah, and you would have had more TNG had there not been complications with a couple.
Yes.
I will tell you something, Luke. We were doing a recording for the Engage podcast, and we had nice comfy stools and everything that I kept spinning around on because I couldn't get my grip or anything. And suddenly, these four guys come running over saying, sorry guys, we need to have the chairs and everything. Which is, all okay, didn't bother us or anything. So they went across, stole the chairs, helped them out a little bit. And they went over to where they had the recreation of the Enterprise D bridge, and suddenly this massive crowd gathers because it was the whole crew bridge photos.
Oh, right. Okay.
And then suddenly you see whiteboards, going up in the air because people are trying to take photos of them. And you had this really angry woman at one point just saying, "No photos, please!" And it just got really quite violent quite quickly, or volatile, I should say.
Yes. I heard about them sort of. Oh, of course, I forgot the restored Enterprise D bridge was there. That's good. Yeah.
It was a recreation, not a restoration.
Yeah, recreation. It isn't particularly great.
Oh, just quickly on that bridge, you could tell it was a recreation. The back panels look so tacky because they look like print-offs rather than nice shiny panels backlit.
Yeah,
it just kind of looked like it was rushed a little bit.
Well, of course they're not finished yet, but I think I think they're not finished yet. I was under the impression they hadn't finished yet. But when they are done, I'm presuming it will be a very good thing to go and see. And overall, was the event better than last time, John? Or, as you say, is it still similar?
Similar, and they have made a couple of changes.
Changes for the better?
Wait with anticipation to see what they will do for the next one, and hope that it will be in London again.
I am hoping that as well, because I actually I was annoyed that I couldn't go to this one and meet you guys there. Yes, and of course,
Steve, I did want to meet you as well. That was a big shame that we didn't get to see you.
But yes, I really hope the next one is in London, and I think they know it's kind of successful there because they've done 2 of them there now, and they sort of did 2 this year, didn't they? There was one in Germany and one.
Well, you've got the question of how often are they going to happen? Is it going to be something every 2 years, or is it going to become yearly, or will it be some other timings?
I'm kind of guessing yearly, because if they did 2 this year, I'm just feeling like the German one was probably a bit late, I would presume. So I would be fine if they stuck to that kind of that format. I really would like to make the next one though, and if I don't, I'll just be furious all over again and lonely. And
See, I've learned so much about going to this convention, about what I need to do, location wise, how I need to prepare myself, what I need to bring, what I don't need to bring, and everything else. So it's been a great experience, and I'm glad that I didn't go in for like a stand or anything like that. I just went as a normal spectator who happened to have flyers and other things.
So Richard, next time, goodie bags.
Yes, Richard. Goodie bags. Goodie bags. Can we have little Richard sweetie?
What with my face on?
Yes, and then we go and sort of consume it slow. No, I'm sorry.
Anyway, I've kind of already started to plan for next time a little bit.
Ooh.
Just with regards to financial planning, what I'm hoping to get.
So are you
and
going to be
everything
at
else.
one of the other many conventions and events that happen around the country? Or are you waiting for the next DST?
I think, well, if I may say, if I interject before Richard think what he thinks about his answer, I would say that I would probably just be sticking with DST because, well, it's kind of the main Star Trek one, which is in Britain and which you guys will probably be going to. And I'd say half of the whole convention experience is the social side of it. See, I wouldn't really be as interested in going if you lot weren't going either, because I'm still wanting to meet up with you and chat and say, hey, let's go and do this, So I'm hoping to go to the next DSTL if it's in London, and if you lot are all going to it, I would definitely want to go to that. And I really hope I can make it next time. Richard?
Johnny, are you trying to say the thing that I told you when we were at DST3?
I've forgotten.
Okay, that's pretty good. Then no, I'm just there are potential plans for next year to go to another convention. I don't want to give up too much details because I don't know them at all.
Right, so we will conclude with, if you want to know what Richard's doing, stalk him on Riser.
Yeah, that's one way. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
So we will
have a
move on
competition
to what else has happened since we were last on air, which is the Star Trek Online Delta Rising expansion. Now, at Destination Star Trek, we saw some of these people that have made reappearances inside the Trek universe as their characters.
Ooh.
We have had the return of Captain Tuvok. We've had 7 of 9. We've had Neelix back. And I haven't progressed far enough to see some of the others.
You got Robert Picardo as the Doctor.
Harry Kim, Richard's friend, Gareth Wang. Who else?
It's interesting. Sorry, just to pause here. Have you seen the video that I posted about with our competition winner?
I don't think so, no.
Watch it.
Okay.
It's segue.
Alright, okay. I will watch.
No spoilers, but segue.
There's a link in the description below. So
Or
everyone
if you're
points
listening,
downwards.
it's www.
So, yes,
yeah.
with the expansion, you can now explore the Delta Quadrant. and revisit some planets and races that we have seen before. And boy, is the expansion annoying when you get
Why
to
is
a
that, John?
point.
Why is it, John?
Quite a few of the missions you get given, and this is where I've now gone stuck, you've got to do patrols of several systems.
Oh,
And there is a race that has made a resurgence. And they have got an artillery ship which, when I threw everything I had at it, I could not get below 90% without it destroying me. And that is with 2 fleets supporting me.
Right, okay. Yeah, STO hasn't always been the most balanced, and it's not always had the best gameplay either. It's just, it seems like they've just kind of programmed stuff and slammed a bunch of numbers in. They've improved recently, I think, but yes, I can kind of imagine what you're saying, that it might need a couple of patches to sort of iron it out. My voice went really high there. To iron it out. So I've not actually played it at all, but I'll segue the reason for that in a moment, because I've got some annoying news about a computer of mine. So anyway, keep going about STO. I've not.
Yeah.
Richard, I believe you've encountered the same problem.
Yes, I have. Basically, as you progress further on, I'm an Admiral level 55 at the moment. So I'm 5 ranks away from hitting Fleet Admiral. Now, I like how they've added the extra ranking structure, so you can now hit Fleet Admiral. I was speaking to
Have you
Midnight
got
Shadow.
such a good line running somewhere? Because I'm sure I can keep hearing the sound effect for Dabo.
At the moment?
Hmm.
No, it's just my phone.
I don't hear Dabo.
Okay, that's weird.
Dabo!
No, it's just my phone. That's
I
all.
don't hear anything.
Ooh. I'll load up Drexels just to be cool. It's going to be upside down now. No, my luck. Oh, no.
Anyway, continuing onwards.
Yeah, anyway. So I like how, you can become a Fleet Admiral, which is great. The problem that I've got at the moment is, 1, the patrol missions are really annoying. And 2, I was speaking with Midnight Shadow, who works with me on Riser and does a lot of podcasts and everything. He was saying to me how you need to really build up and upgrade and really manipulate your current gear, because you can't do it with the stock items. You have to upgrade things specifically.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So you get given like a lot of tech upgrades, and you get the research and development, which I still don't understand, but I'm still doing it. It's gotten to a point with Star Trek Online, it's a little bit tedious. All I want to do is just play the storyline. But in order to play the storyline, you have to do all these little nitty-gritty bits, and then it just causes problems.
STO's always had that kind of... it's been tedious sometimes to kind of advance or do certain missions which are kind of repetitive a little bit. It's actually... I'd say it is a very good MMO. But because it's free as well. It's very good for a sort of a free thing that you don't have to pay for. But yes, some of the older levels especially are kind of repetitive. And as you're saying, the newest bunch are repetitive and kind of... you can't really... Yeah, I see what you mean. You can't really get into the story enough because you're having to do all this routine.
Yeah, absolutely. It just gets annoying. And so now, I'm at the stage of, I'm halfway between level 55 and level 56. I'm doing the PvEs and the PvPs and so on and so forth to gain experience points. And I'm also trying to craft new and so on. So it's just doing so many things. And then you have to wait 20 hours for something to happen and so on and so forth. So it's good to generate, time and usage play. But to actually just play the storyline and hear my friend Garrett Wang's voice, it just doesn't work.
And you've just had the conclusion of another competitions.
Sorry, what? Say it again?
Richard's just had another competition conclude.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, this time with... Yeah, this is another actor within the Star Trek world. I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce his name, but Manu, who obviously plays Ichep from Voyager.
Manu Triami, I think.
Tiriami, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Isn't it French? I don't know if it's French.
I'm not sure. If I get to speak to him, I'll ask. But yeah, got in contact with him. He was really nice and everything. He said, yeah, do whatever you need to do. I'd be more than happy to support and help. So around the competition, that's all great.
Mhm.
And so yeah, Laura is our winner. We did originally give it to Kynan, but unfortunately, due to circumstances, she couldn't take us up on winning the competition, so she donated it back to us, which kind of makes weird sense. So we gave it back out again. Anyway, so Laura is our winner. So we're currently in the midst of arranging that at the moment, which is all good. We're going to be launching another competition, I think, probably this week. Maybe next week, I don't know.
Somebody
I've got some
else
free
new
prizes from
or
people.
a reoccurrence?
No, this is going to be actual prizes. Actual prizes. I know.
Wristbands.
No,
Rich-
no, they're all gone.
Little Richard sweeties, like we discussed earlier.
No, it might be a signed flyer. I don't know. No, that's not
Okay.
good. That's not good. No,
That's good. It's good that you're doing lots of competitions and being sort of regular, if you know what I mean, with your sort of passion. Is it a passion or is it an annoyance? Because I remember when I was writing a script for some movie I was doing a while ago, and I liked doing it when it worked, but when I couldn't do it, I got really angry at it. And is that what Riser kind of feels like running it, or is it always nice?
there are some days where it's very annoying when I'm trying to do something and it just doesn't work, or the ups and downs. And downs. At the moment, it's kind of plain level field.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
So
I think you're doing
Seems
very
quite
well.
nice.
I think you've done a good job at promoting yourself at London. That was a good job. You're doing fine.
that's what we like to hear. But this next competition, basically, when I was in London, we met the Star Trek email guys. And they're the people who obviously do the Starfleet.com, Klingon.org or Klingon.net or the 1701.net email addresses. And that kind of system. Have you guys heard about that?
No.
No. Well, my friend Luke,
Maybe.
then you need to go to StarTrekEmail.com and check it out. Because, it's a really great system and everything else. I did some research. I spoke with the guys when I was in London. And they basically gave me the opportunity to give someone every year, which is great. So you can have your own what do you call it?
Email address?
That's the one. Mind blank, sorry. Their own Starfleet email address or whatever they want.
Okay.
Obviously for a whole year, and so normally it costs about £6, £7, £8 for the year.
But email's dead. So Star Trek Social Networks is where it's at now.
Yes, Risa is where we need to really be going. So, good promotion, Richard.
But still, the Star Trek email guys are really lovely and everything, and so it was really kind of them just to give us, this voucher code to pass on and everything. So, but yeah, getting in contact with other people, see what we can do. We're going to be a few more prizes. I just need to confirm some of them, but that's the main one.
So keep your eyes peeled for the next competition. And Luke, you've had a casualty.
Yes, my computer's hard drive decided to commit suicide. So that's kind of the reason why I've not been able to play STO recently or do anything, because I haven't had the chance to get data off it yet. I tried a couple of fixes, such as burning a boot disk, for example, because that's the trouble. It's when it's booting up from the hard drive, it can't see it. But that's not working, and my father has taken it to his work and had a look at it, but he's not able to access it with his own devices, which is kind of a literal term rather than metaphorical in this case. And yes, so we'll probably need to get some professional help with it. And if all else fails, there's one more thing which I could try, but it depends if the hard drive is damaged internally or externally. Sorry, my voice went really high again, like it did earlier. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm using this little laptop right now. So you might be wondering why I'm kind of lower down than usual, because this camera's usually on top of that monitor, which is...
So all your video projects are currently on hold, and we won't see the conclusion to the Lego movie yet.
Well, that Lego movie wasn't very long in the first place. And actually, I had started editing that, and I got it all sort of... The video all sorted. I was just starting with the sound, which was probably the most important thing to do with that. So yes, I'm a bit worried. I'm kind of in a sort of limbo right now. At least I've got this computer to use for doing schoolwork, whatever I need to do, or keep up to date. So at least I haven't died like I did last time. Remember, John? In fact, you know what the weird thing about this is? This laptop which I'm using now, when that died, this I used to use all the time. Then this died, and there was no replacement for several months. Then that PC, which I've been using for the last wee while, I'm using. And when I came back, John, you said, "We thought you were dead." Ugh, my voice went really high again. I'm sorry, it keeps doing that. Remember, John, you said you said that everyone thought at the last outpost thought I was dead because I hadn't been there for months. But now that replacement has died, and this one's fixed up again. So I just keep going back and forth. But I think the good thing that's come from this experience is I've learned that you kind of need to back up everything now with external hard drives or with a cloud storage server thing. So I'm going to
I have several external hard drives sat at my desk for archival purposes and for storage of video files.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, there's only a couple of folders that I would really properly need. Thank you for that, Richard. But it would still be nice if that hard drive itself could get fixed, rather than having to just sort of retrieve what I can off of it and then transferring it onto a new one, like the one Richard is modelling for us now.
This is
complete with dents.
Terabyte hard drive. Yes, it's got dents.
2 terabytes.
Funny story. 2 terabytes, I think. Oh no, 1 terabyte. I do apologise. 1 terabyte.
I hope so.
Yeah, the funny story. Basically, I have my laptop on my bed, and I usually keep this just to the side because I like to watch movies when I'm in bed, and I keep all my movies on here. So rather than clogging up my MacBook, it's on here. Makes sense. And then some of the movies are also backed up on our networked hard drive. So for whatever reason, I need to get out of bed. I think I need to use the facilities, and for whatever reason, and really weird that somehow I kicked my MacBook off my bed onto the floor. Now the drop is like, hang on, probably yay big. Well, probably the size of my head.
Less than that, I'm presuming.
Yes, definitely. Probably the size of my head. So it's not that great, but it's still enough to cause some damage. And basically, it landed on this, and this is like toughened metal anyway. Mm-hmm. And so thank God it was. So thank God it was this side up. My MacBook has got a little bit of scratches and dents on them, but it's all good. We're all happy. It's still running.
Yeah. Although to be honest, in the end, all of these things are sort of, they will break eventually. Everything will.
I mean, my MacBook, is going to be replaced again in 2 years.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah, exactly.
And because I pay for it monthly, it's going to be paid off in 2 years, and so by the time I pay it off, it'll be time to get the latest MacBook when it's out there.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah. So you've already got sort of backup sorted. But at least I've learned from that experience, and I have lost quite a lot, and I'm a bit worried, and I'm a bit annoyed right now, because I was actually using it, and I just turned it on and just decided, I'm not starting up today. And it's weird how quickly everything you have can be whipped away in an instant. That wasn't a very nice feeling.
I had my primary hard drive die last Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So
Did you lose
I
everything
spent
on
the
it?
days just before having to put in replacement hard drives and reinstalling everything.
Right, yeah. I mean, that's another thing. And my voice just went high again. Is the fact that even if, the files are the important thing. Like school or film projects or whatever, they're definitely the most important. But it's having to reinstall everything again, after sort of building almost a kind of way of doing things. You're going to have to sort of restart that and think about it all again, which will be a bit of a pain. But at least I'm kind of surviving with this laptop right now. So I'm still able to watch, Doctor Who, as I have been. And do sort of, homework assignments or whatever. So I'm not completely dead like I was last time, but I hope it all
You're
turns
limping
out.
along.
Yes, I hope it all turns out okay. It's not as bad as it was when this thing died, back at the end of 2012, I think it was. So, yes, that's my little update.
And with
I have
us,
a cool new gadget. Sorry.
and with us, we've got the DataStream coming back a bit more now. And in the next one, we're going to be having a chat with the Bridge Commander 2 crew. So we'll see how their project is going.
And is that a mod, or is it for...
Well, watch and find out when we've got them on next time.
Okay. I will have to Google that. Thank you.
And if you've got other people you'd like to see us have on the podcast, or
message.
listen to us on the podcast, because we are, of course, available via an RSS feed and are on iTunes as well as YouTube.
And pointing to all the social media links that are going to appear.
It depends wherever you're watching or listening to this.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be back again then.
Hopefully with Luke next time. We'll have a fuller roster next time. We kind of managed tonight, I think. But
If we've got some guests on, it'll be way packed in here.
it'll be fresh.
Standing room only.
What's the most number of guests you've ever had on the DataStream, John? Was it the first one you did?
The most we've had is 4 altogether.
Oh. And that happens quite regularly with you, Richard.
It's rare for us to now be under 4.
Ah, okay. Well, that's fine then. Okay.
So, we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.